Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be showing off the new top tier plant deck. Now, it is definitely hands down the toppest of tiers when it comes to a plant deck. Now, is it going to be the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh? It's really good, actually. After seeing some of this gameplay, I was surprised that the deck is so powerful. I mean, obviously with 6 disruptions / negations, you're going to be able to be good to go against most Yu-Gi-Oh decks. And the thing that makes it great is it's actually pretty consistent. You're going to even see it up against the top tier, which is Splight. I would still say that this deck has some potential, again, because it's super consistent at what it can do. Now, the one thing that I would consider a downside, it doesn't throw up that many negations before you go for your bigger board, so it is susceptible to getting hand trapped, but it can definitely be a top tier deck. Like, I would say it's probably around like the A tier. S tier would be like Splight, but it's definitely top tier. Like, it can keep up with a lot of the meta, especially if it does happen to go first, and we'll even show it going first when it gets Dark Ruler. We'll show against a lot of other decks over here that can kind of respond to it a little bit better, because this deck over here that it's going up against, well, they are playing some of that branded. That's another very popular top tier deck as well. But you can actually go for King Regulus, which is one of the newer cards. It's like a Rika Plant Therion deck with the Sun Avalon. I don't even know what I'm going to title this, but it's definitely a top tier plant deck, and it is using a lot of the newer cards. One thing to note though, King Regulus is a machine, so you have to go for this card before a lot of the Rika stuff, because the Rika stuff will lock you into going for plant. So how do you get all these negations? So one of the cards is actually in the graveyard. This is Rika Snow Princess. So while it's in the graveyard, you can actually tribute a plant, and with the field spell, we'll be able to go over the effects later. It's just some of the replays are like replays where like they updated the files, because these are all OCG brand new cards. So they've been updating them. But nonetheless, that card can be activated in the graveyard, and it's like a really great surprise, because obviously your opponent doesn't really catch it when they throw things like Dark Ruler or whatever the case may be. So this card is also another form of disruption. You do have to take some damage to get the effect, but it does bounce back something. Obviously, this card gets rid of another potential card, because this has the effect. Well, hey, once per turn, you get to detach a material, quick effect, and activate that effect to detach material target one and distribute it, so you get to get rid of one of your opponent's cards. And then on top of that, not only do you get to get rid of it, it does have a quick effect where it gets to gain some boost, but it's whatever. You also have the flower sheet over here, which lets you have another form of disruption, which is also a snatch steal, and then you have the bloom. So you're easily being able to negate like 6 potential things, or like disruptions. Now let's go ahead and check it up against Dark Ruler no more, because obviously, yeah, if a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh decks go first, they're going to be able to pop off, and your opponent, you know, usually will just have to say GG. But obviously with a card like Dark Ruler no more, let's see what this person's playing some variant of Shaddoll Albion is going to be able to do. Over the branded, whatever you want to call it. There's so many variants of like branded at the end of the day, but there's the Dramaturge of Despia over here as well. But nonetheless, the reason why the deck is very consistent, Jasmine is just like go for free cards for days. Also, there's that, so you can gain the extra 500, and then double Jasmine effects. Very good. Just being able to search out whatever you want in the deck, really good, just to be able to add almost everything. And then on top of that, remember, Lone Fire basically goes into anything that you'd want as well. So the deck does have consistency. And then on top of that, you do have the Therion's Ring if you want to go ahead and run this, because, well, you're going to want to run this anyways, because this just lets you search out a Therion monster, which can be Regulus, or Lily Boria, which is another one of the newer cards that just recently came out. Or actually, it's in 5 days these actually come out for the TCG here. But the Colosseum, yeah, you're going to be able to search out a free card. And then on top of that, once per turn, if a monster would be destroyed by battle, you get to send a Therion's card, or the Perpetual, which you don't actually run really. You're going to be able to send that card and protect your stuff, so that could be really good. I wish it protected it via card effect, because it's only destroyed by battle, but it does protect everything. A lot of times though, you will just go for the Rika Arrival. This lets you have that effect where you can just set a Rika spell / trap directly from your deck. But if you would tribute I think it's if you would tribute a plant monster, I'll read the effect fully later. I just want to show you guys all the gameplay ASAP here, because we got a lot of stuff to check out, and I want to go ahead and run through most of it here. But basically lets you tribute your opponent's monsters, and because one of the cards is in the graveyard, it acts as a surprise. But even though they happen to have the Dark Ruler no more, you can see they went for Construct, it got snatched, stolen over there, being able to just tribute the cards. Very great stuff indeed. But next up, you're going to see the Teardrop activating its effect, and then on top of that, you have Bloom, which lets you where it negates the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls. So it's like, this could be technically 2 disruptions, because if there's 2 monsters that you want to negate, just activate this, right? Really, really good. And then we also have a matchup where they actually have Droplet, which is against one of the best decks in the game right now. I would say Splight is probably in the S tier again, and then the Rika Sun Avalon Therion, I don't even know what to call it. The new like top tier plant deck is probably what I'm going to title it, but it can actually match up against this. And look, they've even got Droplet. They got 2 copies of Rodent Totem, which is excellent as well. Just being able to get that free extra card potentially with that, because Droplet gets huge value with Splight. Splight is definitely one of the like best decks going into the future as well. It's definitely going to be the more expensive deck, I think. It depends on obviously, you know, what they release the rarities as, and like if they're short prints or not of some of the cards. But I think that this is going to be one of the top tier plant decks for a really long time. I haven't even heard of any other cards coming back. I remember back in the day it was like all about like some variants of using Dandelion, Spore. That was like the old way to play plants, but like now you can set up boards with like 6+ like disruptions / negations, which is really good. And then you also happen to have another hand trap that's for the deck, and we'll get into that a little bit later up against this Lightsworn matchup. There's also a True Draco matchup I'll show you guys, but figure we'll show off it against like meta, but I'll show you guys some other variants of it, like matchups as well. But a lot of the Rika stuff is great, but the other Rika actually locks you in to, where is it? Rika Snowdrop locks you into going for plants. There's a few cards that lock you into going for plants, but again, the only thing that you're playing is King Regulus that you need to summon before. The rest of the stuff doesn't really matter too much. Sometimes you do have to go for like the other combos before going for it, but you can see they're trying to go for Centuria, get Snatch stolen, and at this point, they're just going to go ahead and have to say GG, because there's really nothing they can do. Let's see up against, Lightsworn's not like the most, and I would say relevant deck in terms of meta, but the guy actually opens up, he gets a double free like advantage. You'll see it over here in the game. But yeah, I just want to go and speed through the gameplay, but you can see basically the combos. A lot of the times it's just get out Loki for free via some sort of card to special summon it, and then if you could have Lone Fire, you can cycle through lots and lots of cards. So I feel like Lone Fire has always been a really, really OP card. Just like in any archetype, there's not like a one like card that's as powerful as Lone Fire as like a starter, and especially if you do want to, you can maybe even throw Avarice in here because you can cycle through so many cards. But it might be one of those cards where it's like a win harder card, because I remember back in the plant days, sometimes people go Lone Fire into like whatever, and then you would, you know, have instantly multiple monsters. And again, you can throw in lots of cards really fast into the deck. Again, just make sure you make this earlier on before you lock yourself with a lot of the Rika engine. It does have that. And there's also Rosebell. It's kind of like a reborn from the deck. You get to add a plant monster with 2,400 or more, and then you can banish a special plant with 2,400 or more attack from your hand. So you get a Searcher, and then you can basically just special summon it from your hand. It's an interesting little way to, like I said, it's not really necessarily like just like Reborn, but in a sense it is, because you're going to cycle through the card anyways. It doesn't really matter. It's a Searcher, and then you get to bring out the card from your hand. So it's another like combo extender, and it can allow you to play through maybe your opponent's hand trap. But now that we have Rika Arrival, again, I'll go over the effect of it fully when we go over the deck profile. But at this point, that's going to be the play. So we have negation. This is also another negation. This is also another negation. So at this point, it doesn't really matter. And we have the surprise negation, which a lot of people always forget about that card with Rika Arrival. Like you actually need to deal with this card. It's also another threat, because if not, the other card, once we get to it, it's the Snow Princess though. But yeah, it lets you just special summon it for free. That's what Rika Princess does. And then on top of that, while it's in the monster zone, yeah, you can only go for plant monsters. But when your opponent activates a monster effect where you control a Rika monster, as a quick effect, you shuffle it from the hand or in the graveyard back into the deck, and then you get the bonus effect. But this is the card I was actually talking about. This is why I wanted to show off this gameplay here, is because Maiden was made. And so Maiden, when an opponent activates a card effect that targets a plant monster, you control the special from the extra deck. So you still kind of have some responses to maybe if they happen to have a hand trap, right? You can just special summon this card, so you get another monster and you get to negate the effect, and it's level 1, so maybe you can use some other uses for it. But like, I just want to show off this. You know what? I can maybe save the True Draco one for another one, because at this point we're like at like 10 minutes once we go over the deck profile. I'll go ahead and mouse over the cards really quick. A big shout outs to my homie Magus Lucius for hooking me up with the gameplay as well as the deck profile, because I haven't really seen anyone really play. Obviously, I've seen Lily Borea and I've seen King Regulus. The this card gets splashed into a lot of different decks just because it's just a really good card in general. It's just like a almost splashable like extra negation. But I will also leave the one-click download in the Discord in case any of you guys do want to go and check it out. But again, a lot of the plays are just like special summon 2 monsters, go for this, get some sort of heals, search out, you know, when you get multiple Jasmines. Great stuff, and a lot of the stuff will be very consistent to go for the combos in the deck. Again, a lot of stuff to go for that normal. So this card is just really important for the deck, and then multiple copies of a Droplet to go against other decks if you happen to go second. That can be utilized for that. Just you only really need 1 copy of this because you're gonna usually just win. If you're going first, you're probably gonna be winning most of the time, as long as you don't get hit by too many hand traps. But again, one-click download will be there in the description. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on. If you want to see more top tier Yu-Gi-Oh decks in the future, hit subscribe, turn the bell, and you'll definitely see more very soon. But take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.